Now, the current ousted government and the president of the Ukraine came into the office as a result of election, okay, which United States, European Union, the Russians, UN, various social public organization, Freedom Watch, whatever you desire, were able to monitor. The Obama administration, this current administration in the United States, were signing off on this election as perfectly democratic. They didn't find anything wrong with it, as did everybody else signed off on it. Now, that election brought in this new government, which was now ousted by the so-called peaceful protesters, to replace the so-called Orange government. Remember the Orange Revolution in Ukraine, which removed the previous president and the government by force of protest, and this time they were voted out by the people of Ukraine because of corruption. And the prime minister, this woman Tymoshenko, was put in prison by the parliament of the country, essentially, for the financial crimes from the past and while in office. To add a little bit more, she was even forced out of her position by the government, which was Orange government. That was even before they got voted out. They couldn't even work with her. But anyway, so we have a democratic election on which Obama's administration signed off that replaced the Orange revolutionary government for their corruption by this new government. Now, these protesters caused the revolution again, replaced the government that was elected democratically. And who is the new temporary prime minister? Is the guy who was a minister in the Orange government. I think he was financial minister, if I remember correctly. Now, if that whole thing is not enough, Obama comes out on national television and says that these protesters are fighting for democracy in Ukraine. The question is, well, what did his administration sign off on then, when they signed on elections calling them democratic, if the government which these protesters ousted now was not democratic? Then I'm telling you, this Mr. Hypocrite, the ancient Greek one, he's turning in his grave. He's like, this is way over my head what these people are doing. And I'm not even ready to take any sides here yet, because I'm just trying to understand what planet are we on. Not taking any sides, not even getting involved in the details. Who pays for what, and who comes for what, and who supports who, and where, chips may fall, and where I may put my opinion. That's all. We're not ready for it. We're just trying to understand what planet are we on. Why is this one day the same administration says it's a democratic process, and then the next day they say the protesters are fighting for liberty and democracy in the country? This is completely insanity. I simply now totally understand why there is such a low level of respect for this administration in this country, and the previous administration too. All of the administrations. People are waking up in the United States and just looking at their governments and who they have to deal with. The imbeciles